Hey everybody, and welcome to my N5 series in the SP404 mk2, where I cover a topic in about 5 minutes. Today I want to just do a PSA kind of style video here because, from time to time I do have people reach out saying that their SP404 mk2 is acting weird or doing strange things, and it's usually because of bus 3 and bus 4 effects. And I was spending some time on the Electronox forum yesterday trying to help somebody kind of triage an issue, and it did turn out, I didn't figure this out, but the person that was having the problem figured out that they were causing themselves some heartburn with cassette delay, the cassette sim. So let's first kind of talk about just the general types of things that I usually see is people will reach out and be like, hey, resampling's busted. And I'll show you why they think this. So I got a kick here. Now it sounds fine. And I'm going to do this to the extreme just to show you, but I've got a compressor that is on my favorites, page 13. And if I go over to bus 3, I just maxed out sustain, attack, ratio, and level to 100. Just to be super extreme, nobody would ever do this. Maybe I don't want to say nobody would never do it, but usually you're not going to do this. However, this is what the kick sounds like now. It's got like a very, very hard attack now. So if I go resample this, we get that hard attack. Now, if I go and resample this again, because the compressor is still on, bus 3 and bus 4 do not turn off after you've used it. You start getting this layering effect where we now have just doubled up the kick. Hear that? Like that's not the kick you probably want. We started here, and now we just barely have anything. If I play the one that we just resampled, it's basically just a blast of noise now. It's like just distorted, all messed up. So the thing to keep in mind is, like, if you're resampling, be very cognizant of having bus 3 and bus 4, whether you want it on or off. Because I just did that with the compressor just to show you an extreme example. You can do the same thing if you have like the SP404 on, where it will, if you have a lot of noise, every time you resample, that your sample is just going to get noisier and noisier. So just keep that in mind. Now, for the specific problem with the cassette sim, what was happening is the person was trying to use DJ mode specifically, and what they were experiencing was with cassette sim. I don't know if you guys had paid attention or not, but there is a delay on it. It has to have a buffer so that it can do the wow and flutter effect in real time. Obviously, it's got the buffer, so it's not really in real time. It's probably like a 1000 or 1024 byte buffer, and this allows the SP404 mk2 to kind of fluctuate the pitch and speed of what it's playing those samples back over time. So anyway, if you have, the problem is if you have that turned on, then anything that you have going out in DJ mode that's you're actually playing to your line out or main is going to be delayed about, I don't know, it's 22 milliseconds, somewhere around there. And that's fine, like if everything was delayed that amount. But the problem is that anything you send to the queue out is not going to have that delay because the queue out is skipping the FX section. So there might be a couple of, I haven't gone through all the effects on the SP404 mk2 to see if this is, everything has a buffer or a delay like this, but the cassette sim absolutely does. So, and if you're playing stuff normally, it's probably not going to be a problem. You might not notice it, or it might just sound like a little off, but you can kind of go correct things in pattern mode or resampling or whatever. But if you're trying to play something live and you're a DJ and you're trying to beat juggle or beat match, it will be infuriating because everything's going to be off somewhere between a 32nd note and a 16th note, roughly, plus or minus. Could be in there depending what BPM content you're playing. But what happens is, because your main out and your Q out is going out of the headphone jack on the bottom here, you're trying to beat match. You get everything to sound like it's actually matched up. And then when you take that Q out and push it out through the main out, or basically mix it to your main outs with the other track, all of a sudden it's going to be kind of off, and it's going to make you feel like you don't know what you're doing. Again, this definitely happens with the cassette sim effect. Reverbs and other things so far, I haven't seen anything that has this kind of a problem. But as I said, just a PSA. So if you're finding that I should probably just delete these. I don't need these horrible kicks. Anyway, if you're finding that you have your SP404 mk2s doing something weird and you look, you're like bus 1, bus 2 doesn't have anything on it, don't forget you might also want to turn off your, I forget how you do this. You can mute buses with shift and bus effects. Is it there? No. There's definitely a button combination to do it. I'm just spacing it right now. The other thing to do or consider would be go to shift pad 16 and on here, just set your favorite for bus 3 and bus 4 to bypass and just see if it like clears things up. Because if you don't have any effects going on and you have a problem, it will be much easier to kind of go through and try and figure out where the problem is. Whereas if you just have some random effects that are in your bus 3 and bus 4 and you're not thinking about it, it's probably quite likely that that's where you're picking up a lot of the problems. Anyway, everybody, thanks for stopping by. Keep making music, keep having fun. Remember, if it sounds good, it is good, and peace.